My name is Matt Chin, and I'm the president of Harvesting Good. Harvesting Good is a wholly owned subsidiary of the Good Shepherd Food Bank, and we are the first mid-scale produce processing center in New England. Our first product is frozen broccoli florets. We get broccoli ground from caribou. We have it trucked down to Olin to get processed here and packaged about 30 minutes away. And it came about when we tried to identify the source of food that would make up what we call the meal gap. And the meal gap is the difference between the amount of food we need to feed all food insecure mainers and the amount of food we were distributing. We looked at Maine farms as a source of highly nutritious food, but we needed to solve the shelf life issue. That all of the food that they would produce for us would only be available to sell in a short 6-month growing season. So we came up with the idea of freezing it to extend the shelf life from the end of one growing season to the beginning of the next. And then that was essentially the genesis of the Harvesting Good initiative. So we were introduced to Blancher, the company and their equipment, when we did a beta test at University of Maine in Orono. Their food science lab had a smaller version of a Latrum Blancher. And we spent 4 days hand floretting, blanching, chilling, putting it in a glass freezer so that we had samples to kind of prove whether or not we can do this. And at that time we were thinking about another manufacturer for a Blancher. But after 4 or 5 days actually working with Latrum Blancher and getting glowing recommendations from the UMaine Orono personnel, we made a change in our decision and called up Blancher to see what they would have for our scale. And we've been very happy with that choice. The equipment has been bulletproof. It does exactly what was promised. It's been online with probably 100% of the time. It's equipment that we understand how to run, and it is clearly, because of the Blancher being on kill step, one of the most important pieces of equipment that we have.
My name is Simeon Allen. I'm the co-owner and general manager of WR Allen. So this would be our first full season of running the Blancher and the chiller. We put about 215 hours on it so far, and we're actually getting ready to finish up our season within the next 5 days. So the first season's almost over. 5,000 pounds an hour we're running on in a conservative number, about 5,000 an hour. Excellent. Ever since the commissioning to the install, the commissioning, and to the operations, everything has been very seamless. We had a couple very minor things in the beginning that were a couple phone calls away and was fixed. And ever since then, everything's been running very flawlessly. Happy with the consistency of the machine. At any given time, it's holding exactly 195 degrees, which is their set points. And doesn't matter what the volume going in, going out is. It does a very good job adjusting to keep a very even cook. Chilling system is a falling film chiller, rainfall chiller. We were lucky that we had excess refrigeration on site, so it was a very simple, really, install for us. We were able to hook up some of our existing ammonia refrigeration to it, and that has also been very flawless, very, very good. It's got plenty of capacity, so it's done a very good job. I'm John Dubois. I'm the project manager for this project. I was the one who specified the Latrum equipment, and we're very, very happy that we did. We're happy with it because it's rock solid. Everything that we've done with this equipment so far has worked the way that it's supposed to work. We've been able to very clearly set our recipes and hold those recipes, and as everything we ask it to do, it does. So it's perfect. This control panel is our remote control panel that is surrounded by the entire production line, and it gives us a chance to visually see the line at the same time as controlling the line, so that we can do everything we need to right from this remote location. And we can see if that influx or that starvation causes a problem. And if we see that there's either a spike or a dip, we can then know that we're having issues. But the fact of the matter is that the controls handle it so well that we almost never do. And if we do, it's never about your product, it's about whether the steam plant is achieving what it needs to or not. So it really has been fantastic. And we have the same kind of situation on the chiller side as well.
Hi, Jason Bolden, Associate Dean of University of Maine Cooperative Extension and also Food Safety Specialist at the University of Maine. So Harvesting Good contacted us in about 2021 with the idea of growing broccoli in northern Maine, or taking broccoli that was grown in northern Maine and blanching it here in Maine and then freezing it. The idea was that they needed some sort of blanching system. Originally they were going to look at submersion, boiling water or hot water, and then some sort of way of cooling it down and then freezing it. And they wanted to run a couple pilot studies to look at different varieties of broccoli, different yields and different properties of the broccoli. So they contacted us to help run some of those pilots. I told them I didn't have a submersion boiling water type blanching system, but we did have a convection steam blancher. It had been utilized for various types of broccoli and vegetable production. And so we discussed some of the benefits to a convection steam type of process. More control. You can make quick changes as you had product changes, so you get better control of temperature and overall better yields because you're not overcooking the product. There's also the advantages associated with the consumption of water and energy consumption for the vast majority of convection blanching systems. And then lastly, how do you clean the systems? So various properties associated with and benefits to a convection steam versus a boiling water that's just recirculating the water. So they came to the university. We blanched somewhere around 3,000 pounds of broccoli in various types, and they did it on a small Latrum pilot cooker. They saw very easily how we could control the system by just a few touch of a button, and it would allow us to increase, decrease temperatures. The system would react rapidly, and so we could prevent overcooking as the product size, or in some cases, some of the product parameters, how much stalk is present, how much floret or crown is present. So we could adjust those very easily. And I did make a couple points. If you were in a boiling water blanching system, you couldn't do that. When the water is set to 200 degrees Fahrenheit, it's set to 200 degrees Fahrenheit. It's very difficult to cool down that system rapidly to adjust to various product temperatures. Also, when it comes to the cleaning of the system, we had very prescribed SOPs that came directly from Latrum on how to clean and then sanitize the system. And so we ran that, and then they started to look at their options, contacted various suppliers, and 2 years later, there's more to that story of course, but 2 years later, this is the system they decided to go with. We also worked on an aspect of validation. So because Latrum had worked with other broccoli processors in the past, we had some data to start with to understand their individual validation to ensure that it was a safe, ready-to-eat food product. And the same thing goes for the water chiller. They were able to validate that system to make sure that they had a good cleaning process and sanitation process in place. And also, again, that they were cooling the product enough to create an efficiency so that it was cold enough when it entered the freezer that they were getting as high a yields as possible.